The night felt heavier than usual, like the clouds themselves were holding their breath. Ethan Kuroda walked alone through the streets, the dim streetlights casting fractured shadows on the pavement. His school uniform looked strangely out of place at this hour, the white shirt slightly wrinkled, the dark blazer absorbing the shadows around him. His sharp eyes, calm yet intense, flickered with thoughts he refused to say out loud. He held his bag close, though not because of the notebooks and textbooks inside. No, it was because of that one thing hidden in the inner pocket, the mysterious notebook. He felt the weight of it constantly, as if the notebook were more alive than the city he was walking through. And maybe it was. Maybe the notebook breathed with him, listened to him, whispered possibilities he wasn't brave enough to admit he wanted. 2 weeks had passed since he began using it. 2 weeks since the world started shifting. 2 weeks since Kale, the skeletal figure with elongated limbs, pale cracked skin, and glowing blue eyes, appeared beside him like a creature pulled from a nightmare and given freedom to wander. "You're walking slower today," Kale murmured, floating beside him effortlessly. His shadowy aura pulsed faintly, as if amused. "Worried?" "Ethan." Ethan didn't answer at first. His breath hitched, and he exhaled. "I'm thinking." "Thinking?" Kale grinned wider, the cracks on his cheeks stretching disturbingly. "That never leads humans anywhere safe." "I'm not looking for safe," Ethan said quietly. There was a sharpness in his voice, something cold yet weary. "I just want to get it right." Kale chuckled, his voice like bones clinking together. "You humans always think there's a right way to play God." Ethan stopped walking. "Maybe there is," he whispered. And just like that, the city noise vanished from his awareness. The distant sirens, the chatter from the late-night restaurants, even the soft hum of streetlights faded behind the loud pounding of his own heart. He wasn't scared of the notebook anymore. That was the strange part. The fear had vanished, replaced by something far more dangerous. Conviction. Ethan glanced at Kale. "You know what today is?" Kale tilted his head. "A Sunday? Or does this question have something to do with the little meeting?" "Yeah," Ethan replied. "The meeting." And the darkness above them thickened, as if listening. "I know Mira is going to talk to me," Ethan muttered. Kale raised one sharp skeletal finger. "Mira or Shira, the gentle girl with soft features and pastel clothes? The one who keeps staring at you in class?" "Yeah. The one who might figure you out." Ethan's jaw tightened. "Maybe." Kale grinned even more. "Then this will be fun." Ethan didn't smile. He just kept walking, the weight of destiny in his pocket, and the shadow of death floating at his side. Tonight wasn't about chance. Tonight was about choices. And choices had consequences. Monday morning arrived too quietly, as if the sun itself was afraid to shine fully. Ethan sat at his desk, the light from the classroom window illuminating his pale skin and the messy strands of his black hair. His sharp eyes tracked every direction without openly moving, observing, calculating, absorbing the smallest details. He was already 3 steps ahead of everyone. Yet someone else was watching him. Mira or Shira. She sat in the next row, hands neatly folded, her pastel-colored sweater softening her presence. Her long dark brown hair draped over her shoulders like a calm waterfall. She looked innocent, kind, even fragile, but today there was something different in her gaze. She wasn't just looking at him. She was studying him. He could feel her eyes on him, warm but concerned, like she was trying to reach the version of him he used to be. The version that laughed softly, helped classmates quietly, blended into the background. But that Ethan felt distant now, almost unreachable. Their history was simple. They had been classmates for 4 years. Not close friends, not strangers, something in between. A quiet understanding existed between them. She always believed he was more thoughtful than he let on. And maybe she was the only one who ever saw that side of him. But today, her thoughtfulness felt dangerous. "Ethan," she whispered suddenly, leaning slightly toward him. "Can we talk later?" His fingers froze around his pen. "Talk? About what?" "You've been different lately," she said. "And I'm worried." "Please don't say no." A knot tightened in Ethan's chest, emotions he didn't want to deal with rising like unwelcome smoke. Cale materialized behind Mira, looming like a nightmare. Only Ethan could see him. Cale tapped Mira's hair with a skeletal finger, watching it pass through harmlessly. "She's dangerous, Ethan," Cale croaked. "People who care too much often ruin everything." Ethan gripped his pen harder. Mira waited. He swallowed. "Fine. After school." Her gentle expression softened. "Thank you." But Ethan didn't relax. Because the truth was, Mira might be the first person to notice the fractures in his mask. And if she pushed too far, if she suspected anything, he didn't want to think about what that meant. Cale leaned close to Ethan's ear. "You could write her name." "Shut up," Ethan whispered under his breath. Cale chuckled quietly. "Still pretending you have limits, are you?" Ethan didn't respond. But he knew one thing. This after-school conversation could change everything. And not necessarily for the better. The school day dragged on, each hour heavier than the last. By the time the final bell rang, Ethan's stomach twisted with tension. Mira approached him as the classroom emptied, her soft steps somehow louder in his mind than anything else. "Shall we?" she asked, hugging her notebook close. Ethan nodded. They walked through the courtyard, autumn wind brushing past them. The leaves rustled like whispers of secrets they shouldn't hear. Mira stopped under a cherry tree, the branches bare this season yet still holding remnants of beauty. "Ethan," she began gently, "I don't mean to pry. But something's been off. You look tired, tense, like you're carrying something really heavy." Ethan stared at the ground. "Why do you care?" Her eyebrows lowered slightly. "Because you matter to me. You always have. And seeing you like this scares me." Cale appeared leaning against the tree, arms crossed. "Humans and feelings, how boring." Ethan ignored him. Mira continued, "Sometimes it feels like you're slipping away. Like you're fighting something alone." Her voice trembled slightly, and that tremble pierced Ethan far more than he expected. "Are you in trouble, Ethan?" His breath hitched. Trouble? She had no idea. He took a small step back. "Mira, I'm fine." "No, you're not." Mira shook her head. "You've started staying out late. You barely talk to anyone. Your eyes, they're colder." "I don't know what happened, but..." "Enough," Ethan said sharply. She froze. His voice cracked slightly. "Just, don't ask me things you don't want the answers to." "But I do want the answers," she insisted quietly. "Let me help you." Help. A simple word. A dangerous word. Because if she kept asking for answers long enough, she might eventually learn about the notebook. About what he had done. About what he planned to do. Cale was grinning behind her like a proud demon. "She's getting closer, Ethan. Too close." Ethan's fingers brushed the edge of the mysterious notebook inside his blazer. The leather felt warm, pulsing faintly like a heartbeat. He whispered, "What if there's nothing you can do for me? Then I want to at least try." Mira stepped closer. "Don't shut me out." Please. Her voice broke. Ethan's pulse thrashed violently. Kale leaned into his ear, whispering with a sickly sweetness, "Make a deal with me, Ethan. I'll make her forget. I can erase suspicion. I can tilt the world in your favor." "Get away from me," Ethan muttered through clenched teeth. "What?" Mira asked. "Nothing." Kale grabbed Ethan's shoulder with an icy skeletal hand. "One deal, Ethan. One small deal, and she will never threaten your plans again." Ethan shook Kale's hand off, but his mind spun. Mira's warm eyes. Kale's chilling whisper. The deadly promise in his pocket. The rising pressure inside him. He didn't want to lose Mira's trust. But he couldn't risk her discovering the truth. Ethan exhaled shakily. "Mira, give me time. That's all I can promise." She looked relieved. "Of course. Take all the time you need." But Ethan felt no relief. Because Kale's grin had widened. As if the time Ethan asked for was the very thing that would destroy everything. Night fell like a curtain of ink over the city. Ethan sat at his desk, the glow of his small study lamp casting long shadows across his room. Papers, assignments, and old books surrounded him, but he stared only at the mysterious notebook lying open in front of him. Kale perched upside down from the ceiling, dangling like a skeleton spider. "You're thinking too hard again," Kale sing-songed, swinging slightly. "Your little meeting didn't help, did it?" Ethan rubbed his temples. "She's too perceptive." "I didn't expect that." Kale's glowing blue eyes widened mockingly. "She likes you. Humans notice the ones they care about." "That's the problem," Ethan whispered. Before Kale could reply, Ethan's phone buzzed. He picked it up, expecting Mira, but instead the screen displayed a headline that made his heart slam into his chest. "Unidentified investigator joins case of mysterious deaths." A blurred silhouette accompanied the article. A silhouette Ethan recognized. Inspector Varane. The faceless enigma. The detective the police only spoke about in whispers. The man whose presence distorted rooms. The one who had already noticed Ethan's pattern. Ethan's blood ran cold. Kale dropped from the ceiling, landing silently. "Ah!" The shadow man enters the stage. Ethan read the article carefully, every word sinking like a stone. Varane had been assigned the case after patterns appeared in the deaths, timelines that shouldn't align, criminals collapsing without explanation, chaos that felt too precise to be random. A code. A rhythm. A hidden conductor. Ethan felt sweat forming on his neck. "He's fast," Ethan muttered. "Too fast." "He's looking for someone playing God," Kale said gleefully. "And Ethan, that someone is you." Ethan slammed the notebook shut instinctively. "Don't say that." His loud voice echoed around the room, raw and terrified. Kale laughed a hollow, echoing laugh. "He knows, Ethan. He may not know your name, your face, or your school, but he knows a mind like yours is behind the curtain." Ethan stood up, pacing quickly. "I haven't slipped. I've been careful." "Have you?" Kale asked. Ethan froze. Kale floated toward him until they were face to face. "You care about Mira. You're emotional." "Emotion causes mistakes." A chill ran through Ethan. "I don't make mistakes." Kale smiled. "Then don't start now." Ethan stared at his reflection in the window. His pale skin seemed even paler. His intense eyes sharper. His black hair messier. He looked like someone else entirely, someone who would been consumed by shadows and secrets. Inspector Varane was coming. And the true game was only beginning. School the next day tasted like dread. The moment Ethan entered, I shifted toward him, whispers rising. Not because they suspected him, no, the world still believed he was quite Ethan Kuroda, the boy with sharp eyes and a calm expression. But the tension around him was real. Something felt wrong. Too wrong. Kale walked beside him, nearly invisible in the morning haze. The city wakes with fear, he whispered. Varin has begun tightening the strings. Ethan's jaw clenched. Let him try. Oh, he will, Kale replied cheerfully. And he will enjoy it. As Ethan walked through the hall, Mira approached him, her expression softer than yesterday but still mixed with concern. Are you okay? She asked. He swallowed. I'm fine. You don't look fine. Ethan's fingers twitched. Mira, please. Not now. She hesitated, then nodded slowly. All right. But if something happens, promise you won't face it alone. He didn't answer. Because he couldn't. Kale whispered into his ear, say yes, or she will push harder. Ethan exhaled shakily. Yes. I promise. Mira gave him a small smile before leaving. Kale's grin stretched. You lie very beautifully. Ethan closed his eyes. He didn't want this life to swallow her. He didn't want her caught between two worlds, the human world and whatever world the notebook belonged to. When he opened his eyes, he saw something unusual, a strange envelope tucked inside his locker vent. No name. No stamp. Just a black seal. Ethan's stomach twisted. Slowly, he opened it. Inside was a single sheet. Typed. Clean. Precise. I know you exist. I don't know your name yet. But I'm coming. No signature. Just a symbol. A dark circle with a single vertical line through it. Varin's mark. Ethan's heart dropped like stone. Kale clapped softly, delighted. The hunt begins. Ethan folded the letter, shoving it into his bag. His fingers trembled, but his face stayed calm. Everyone around him laughed, talked, lived in oblivion. Yet Ethan felt like the world had just tilted, dangerously and permanently. He had been noticed. He had been chosen. A battle of minds had begun long before he realized it. And now there was no turning back. Night regained its throne over the city, draping everything in its dark velvet. Ethan sat by his window, knees pulled close, the mysterious notebook resting in his lap. The moonlight caught the edges of its black cover, making it look like it was glowing faintly, waiting to be used, hungry. Kale sat cross-legged on the wall, upside down again, like gravity was just a joke to him. So, he said, tapping his jawbone, what will you do? Fight? Run? Hide behind your clever schoolboy smile. Ethan stared at the notebook. I'm not running. Kale's grin widened. That's my Ethan. Ethan opened the notebook slowly. Each page felt hot under his fingertips, pulsing with invisible energy. He felt powerful. Terrified. Alive. Varin wants to challenge me, Ethan murmured. Fine. I'll challenge him back. Kale's spine straightened with excitement. But not recklessly, Ethan added, voice steadying. I won't fall into his traps. I won't show my hand. Kale tilted his head. You're planning something. I always plan, Ethan whispered. I need to send him a message, not too obvious, not too loud. Just enough for him to understand he's not dealing with a fool. Ethan turned to a fresh page. Kale floated down beside him. You're trembling. I'm not scared, Ethan muttered. Kale touched Ethan's trembling fingers with a cold skeletal hand. Then why is your heart beating like that? Ethan didn't answer. He just stared at the blank page until the silence felt suffocating. Then he whispered, "Kale, what happens if I push too far?" Kale blinked slowly. "There is no too far. There is only winning or losing." "And Mira?" Ethan asked quietly. "What happens to her?" Kale's grin softened for the first time, not kindly, not sadly, just curiously. "Humans break easily, Ethan. If you want her protected, you must win. That's all." Ethan looked at the notebook again. He wrote nothing. Not yet. But in his mind, dozens of ideas formed: strategies, counter-strategies, risks, possibilities. The war between him and Varin was nothing like the notebook. The notebook required names. Varin required intellect. A different kind of killing. Ethan closed the notebook gently, almost affectionately, and stood. His eyes hardened, sharp enough to cut the dark itself. "Fine," he said. "Let's begin." And Kale laughed, delighted, because the boy who once feared shadows was now becoming one. The night outside whispered as if acknowledging its new partner. Ethan Kuroda's war had begun. And every step he took now would shape the world.